What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our ACC football channel.
Everyone likes to give Clemson a hard time about their schedule, and the 2019 schedule really was not very tough when you look back at it. I know they played Texas A&M in the non-conference, but it was really more about just the ACC being down. That's why their schedule looks so weak. You know, they scheduled Texas A&M. They play South Carolina every year. They can't help that those two teams were down a little bit last year. And then they can't help that the conference is down overall. They've kind of done what Alabama did to the SEC, and now the teams in the SEC are kind of starting to catch up. But there for a while, Alabama just owned the SEC. Well, Clemson's now kind of done that in the ACC, and it'll take a little time for some of the teams to catch up. And then the schedule for Clemson will obviously get tougher. So here it is. Here's the 2020 schedule. They open up the season on a Thursday night on the road at Georgia Tech. So that will be an interesting matchup there. On the road at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech team that should be a little bit better this year, but I don't think Clemson's too worried about that one. Another good one on the 12th. September 12th, they'll play Louisville. Louisville's a team that surprised last year, and they're probably going to be pretty good this year. You look for a game where Clemson might slip up, and maybe it's early in the year against Louisville, maybe not, I don't know. September 19th, they'll play Akron, and then on September 26th, it's a rematch of the ACC Championship against Virginia. Bryce Perkins gone for Virginia. Will they be as good as they were last year, or will that be an easy win for Clemson again? Again, you just don't really see anyone in the ACC challenging them. You see some teams that could compete and maybe stay competitive in a game, but do you see anyone that could beat Clemson in the ACC? I don't know. They play after that on a Friday night, I believe, against Boston College on the road. Boston College has been known to pull off upsets on Thursday, Friday night games, but I don't know if they're going to have the personnel to do it. After that, it's Florida State on the road on October the 10th. Florida State should have, talent-wise, maybe one of the top rosters in the ACC. Can Mike Norvell put it all together? Can the Seminoles potentially challenge Clemson? That's what's been missing, really. Florida State, not good anymore. You used to have Florida State and Clemson. You had two really good teams at least every year in the ACC. With Florida State going down, that takes away Clemson's really their top challenger in the conference. After that, they'll play NC State on October 17th. That's a home game for Clemson. Another home game on the 24th against Syracuse. And then you get a pretty tough matchup outside of the ACC. Clemson will go on the road to face Notre Dame. This could be a challenge for Clemson. Notre Dame's a team that we know is going to be a top 25 type team, but we don't know, are they going to be an elite team, a top 10 team, a playoff contender, or are they going to be kind of like they were last year, a team that's going to lose a couple of games, finish in the top 15, top 20, something like that. Really don't know, but the game is on the road, so that is definitely, in my opinion, tougher than what they had last year with Texas A&M at home. So they give them a little credit. They will play Notre Dame, and it's really out of their control because Notre Dame rotates through the ACC schools, but they'll play the Citadel after that on November 14th. And then Wake Forest on the road November 21st. Could be a little bit of a tricky game. Wake Forest is a program that seems to be getting better and better, and they're not horrible for sure. I mean, they've been able to get to some bowl games and haven't quite reached that next level where you could say that they could compete with a team like Clemson and compete for an ACC championship. But that could be an interesting game. And they'll play South Carolina at the end on November 28th. They'll play every year, of course. South Carolina, I'm not seeing enough there to where I think that this could be a competitive game this year. Last year, I actually thought South Carolina might be able to compete in this game. Jake Bentley went down with the injury. They had a lot of injuries actually last year, and by the end of the season, I mean, there was no chance for South Carolina to win. And this game being at Clemson, I don't really see South Carolina having much of a chance in this one either. So again, you look through this schedule and you say, who's going to beat Clemson? I have no idea. It's tough to find any real challenges here. Florida State, if Mike Norvell can get it going there, maybe that's a competitive game. Notre Dame on the road should at least be a competitive game. I mean, it should at least be a game that's not over at halftime. But other than that, can Louisville maybe challenge them? North Carolina was the team that did it last year. They don't play North Carolina this year. They don't play Miami, a team with De'Aaron King that has potential to be pretty good. I think right now Miami Miami, North Carolina, and Virginia Tech look to be the front runners in the Coastal Division. Clemson avoids all 3 of them. So the schedule definitely plays out in their favor, with the 2 challenges being maybe Florida State, may not be a challenge at all, and then I think Notre Dame probably the most difficult game on this 2020 schedule for the Clemson Tigers.